Hello, how you doing? This is Keison, Big Keison with his MS journey. Um, I'd like to thank you for all you MS warriors as well as you MS warrior advocates. Um, please make sure we keep fighting the good fight and we all fight our battles the way that we fight our battles. Um, with
Before you
that,
go any further, can I ask you a question?
yes,
What is an MS advocate?
MS advocate
For the people,
is
yeah, I don't understand what that means.
right. An MS advocate is just someone who doesn't have MS, but they empathize with someone who has MS and very supportive in people who have MS and finding a cure. They may not have it themselves, but they are very supportive. So, um, with that, my I was diagnosed uh, approximately around October, November of 2017. I was still living in Michigan. And when I got diagnosed, it hit me like a ton of bricks. And when I first got diagnosed, hey, I had to deal with it. And then I just started calling family members like, hey, hey, make sure you guys, get yourselves checked out, whatever. It's not a hereditary thing, but you just never know. You have a small um, set of people in a family that might get it. I know I've met sisters who have it. I've met a mother and daughter who have it. So they say it's not hereditary, but uh, I start calling family members, and one of the family members I did call was my uncle, and I let him know, hey, this is what I have, and he definitely had some concerns, and he had questions for me. So I have my uncle Tim on here. He's my real uncle, y'all. It's not just a nickname. Um,
Gotta
I know
laugh
some people
when
would be
he
like,
just
"Is that your real uncle?" Yes, it's my real uncle. Him and my mother are brother and sister. Okay, um, and then I'll let him take it from there. When I told him that I had this diagnosis, and he kind of just give you a real feeling of what he was feeling hearing this from his nephew. So, Uncle Tim, take it away.
Man, I'm gonna just be honest. When you told me, and just being real serious, when you told me, you made it seem like it was just that was it. You was like, man, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm like, what?
I thought it was. I'm gonna be honest with you. I thought it was. I was like, man,
So,
I just caught it. I'm gonna get a wheelchair and I'm gonna die. That's
so
that's what I thought.
this guy right here had me to call my doctor, ask him all type of questions. He said, "Damn, when did he get diagnosed?" I said, "Well, he got diagnosed a little while ago." He said, "Well, medicine has advanced since back in the '60s and '70s.
Mm-hmm.
We in the 2000s, and and I was like, yeah, but he's really really scared." And he was like, "Okay, man, you just please tune that out. It's a hospital right next door, so please tune that out. That ain't my argument, Dan. Okay." But anyway,
It was on your heart. Just it's bringing that faith and that real emotion from you.
right? Tell me about it. But I'm gonna tell you this though, it scared the hell out of me, not because of what the illness is.
Mm-hmm.
It scared the hell out of me. It's the way he sounded. Like, this is the last time I'm gonna talk to you. And I'm like, the hell? Like, what is wrong with him? Like, you know, he had me thinking MS was something different. I said, ain't that multiple sclerosis? I said, the hell is, I'm confused. I'm like, what the? Do he know what he got? Or, because man, look, to the people out there that's listening, please do not take this wrong. He made it seem like he had something that, once you got it, that was it. You just fell out right there, like, damn,
But you
like,
know what? It so it's two types of MS, and I don't think I've ever went into it. Um, but there's an aggressive type, depending on
okay,
where your lesions are, and I have the aggressive type, which means I can be me as I am right now for the rest of my life, and it never turns. But it can turn just like that, and I could be sitting here, in a different format, whether that's wheelchair, whether that's incapacitated. It's different for different people.
when
So
you say incapacitated, what
um,
does that?
maybe I might be paralyzed in my legs, or I don't have proper function of my left side of my body or right side of my body. It's just different for everybody. And if you follow me on Instagram and Facebook, I did put a post up where I said, a friend of mine, she put up, tell me again how your brother's cousin, baby sister, sister-in-law got it, and you want to tell me about MS. So, for a lot of people, they think they know because they know somebody distant who got it, but it's not the same for everybody. Some people, you never know they have MS, and some people, you're like, wow, they have MS. So it's just different for different people.
So, okay, I'm going to explain to you what happened. Once you told me this, I called my doctor.
Mm-hmm.
He asked me a couple of questions. He said, first, the first diagnosis, who was the first diagnosis by?
You can go ahead. I don't really hear. We don't really hear it on this side.
Okay, okay.
Okay, that one we hear.
Okay. The second time, he said, the second time he went in to get checked out, who looked at him the second time? And I said, well, I don't know if he went and got a second opinion. So he said, wait, let me know he got a third opinion because he's supposed to get a third opinion because he said when they give you these tests, sometimes you have false positives.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what is a false positive? He said sometimes it shows that you may have it and you don't.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes things happen when people hear they got something, something here clicks and they get scared and do something they shouldn't do. And he said if he got a real good doctor, the doctor would tell him to go get a second and a third diagnosis. Mm-hmm. That way, without a shadow of a doubt, he would know. So I'm sitting back. I said, "Damn!" I'm talking to my doctor. I said, "Damn!" I said, "Boy, you getting good advice, because ain't no lie, he's a really good doctor. He has a great bedside manner." But he said it sounded like you really concerned. So he said, "What do you want to do?" He said, "Do you want to get checked out?" I said, "Yeah, why not?" So I got checked out, and he was like, nothing. Mm-hmm. And I was like, because he said it might be hereditary. He said, and
very small.
He was asking if it was, if you was considered hereditary. He said, "Is there anybody that you know of that may have it besides, your nephew?" And I was trying to think, and I couldn't think of anybody. Mm-hmm. Because the family tree on this family is just like all over the damn place. You like, okay, that's my mama's brother, uncle, cousin. You be like, man, he 3 people in this family. I don't understand how that works, but But anyway, I'm gonna tell you something, man. I was so damn worried because you had me scared. I actually broke down and cried because the way you made it sound like that was it. I was like, damn, like I haven't even traveled to Michigan to see him. And I ain't gonna lie to you, all while he been in Michigan, I went to Michigan after he moved. He was mad filed for that, but still. But dude, I was really scared. Really. Not for me, but I was scared for you because you like my best friend. I'm serious. You are. I could talk to you better than I could these type of friends over here because they're crazy. But you level headed, and I'm like, damn, So if he's level headed right now, I said maybe he can handle this because my thought process was, can he handle this? You get what I'm saying, right? Mm-hmm. Like sometimes people hear they got things, and all of a sudden, my friend found out he had. Well, I can't say that here, but he found out he had something, and he lost his shit, and that was very unfortunate. I lost a friend, but people find out things, man, and they can't cope.
Well, I can tell you, and I've discussed with the people who follow my MS journey. I've discussed that, when you first get it, it's like any prognosis that you get. They always tell you that this is the good part and this is the bad part. And when you were talking about, hey, did I get a first and second opinion? I was 32, 33, something like that. when I got diagnosed. But the person who diagnosed me first was my nurse practitioner, so my PCP, and she was like, "You're kind of young to have it. I mean, I don't think you have it, but let's go
Because
get you a second
they were,
opinion."
I mean, it usually hit at an older age. Because people usually let it.
So after her, I was like, okay, well, maybe I don't got it. Maybe, hey, she said, so I went and got a second opinion from a specialist. And, when I got I went and got an MRI, the people in the MRI room were like, normally they just even kill. They were like, they looking down. What the hell are you looking down for? You uh, you got MS? I was like, what you talking about? Yeah, you know what? Maybe we wrong. Go ahead, go see your neurologist. So, I went and saw a specialist, and, he saw it, and he was like, oh, yeah, you definitely got MS, dude. I'm sorry to tell you this. So my mind went like,
What did they see?
um, so with MS, and I think I haven't talked about this part. I think I might have glazed over it. It's lesions. So you have lesions on the brain, and you can get them on your spinal cord. So you can get spinal cord and on your brain. So if the lesion activates itself, um, so if it activates here, your arm may not work, or if it activates here, your back may not work, or if it's on your spine, just depending on where it is, it can do different things. So the medicines that you take, they're either to stop them where they are, and hey, wherever you are right now, that's where you're going to be, or to try to eliminate them as best as they can. When he told me, I was in the process of moving to Connecticut. So when I moved to Connecticut, I'm not gonna lie, I've told it on here many times, I was still in denial. I was like, you know what, no offense to Michigan, but I was like, man, the doctors in Michigan stupid. That's stupid Michigan doctors. They don't know. I got an unknown disease that's so rare that they don't know. I got a Keison disease. That's what I got. It's a Keison disease. I'm the only one that have it, and they don't know what they're talking about. So I went and got another opinion.
So you got a fourth?
Yeah, I got a neurologist out here, and she was like, yeah, buddy, you got it. You definitely got it." And then I said, okay, let me go into the acceptance phase. And again, it wasn't like it was, oh, I denied it one day and accepted it the next day. That didn't happen like that or that fast. Um, so once I kind of accepted it, my wife and my son, we came up with and a neurologist, obviously, we came up with an immediate plan on what medicines to take and moving forward, what the strategy would be. And once we got that in place, I got with some support groups that I was going to 2, 3 times a month, and I started to move forward. I started to ease back up on it. And then, furthermore, I started to do more research. A lot of the research, one, don't listen to social media. Okay, everyone is going to tell you if you be a vegan, your MS will go away. For those of you who think that, shut up. If you stop eating red meat, the MS will go away. Shut up.
Come on, man. Even Stevie Wonder tell you that shit ain't working.
Man,
come on.
Look, Uncle Tim, it's I can tell you, and speaking to fellow MS warriors, you hear so much crap that people just, I was on this diet and I know a friend who MS just went away. They lied to you, okay? Maybe they're not showing symptoms as they were, but they still have it. And that's a different thing of not showing symptoms and not having it. That's two different things. It's like Magic Johnson. They were like, oh, he don't look like it. He still has his virus. He's just not showing symptoms of someone who has it. It's a total difference.
And he's just not able to pass it anymore.
And again, I've spoken to Magic Johnson in my former job, former life, and trust me, he still has a regimen that he does. He still gets up and exercises like crazy. He eats a specific diet. He's not just showing up eating fried chicken and saying life is gonna be great. I'm
Okay.
so serious. I mean, he's very serious about what he has, and you have to take it just as serious, and what you do and how you do it. And so for me, it was definitely getting my mind right to accept that I have it, and now I'm in a fight for my life. And at any moment, it can change, Uncle Tam. I've met so many people who've told me so many great stories, but I'm not gonna lie, I did get shaken. I told my wife about this story. I got shaken when I met one lady. Um, she was telling me about her story, and I'm not gonna put too much of her information out, but she said, "Hey, 2 years ago I was fine. I was working my job and I was good." And she said something happened, and now you see me in a wheelchair. I was like, wow. And
There
that
was no lean up into this to,
no, and
lead up into it. She
mm-mm,
didn't feel sluggish,
no. She
wasn't getting
said
migraines or
nope. She's
anything.
like, I got diagnosed year one, and she was like, a year or two later, you see me sitting here in a wheelchair. And I'm like, wow, and that hit me like, wow, So I mean, you can still get shaken. Don't you can feel comfortable as you want, but you can still get shaken with this. And I was shaken. Um, Obviously, you hear stories like that, you still can be shaken. But hey, I just wanted everybody to know that do the proper research because you're going to get a lot of crap when you're doing your research, and that's another reason I try to do these videos is to let people know that it's going to be all right. Again, whether you end up in a wheelchair or maybe you don't have full use of your legs or your arms or whatever situation is, it's gonna be all right. My wife's cousin, and she said I can say her name, so Miss Beverly. Um, she told me she also has MS. She's an MS warrior too, and she said, "Hey, Keison, look, you're gonna catch something in this life. We all are. Just be happy you can deal with what you have. You can fight and be a warrior for what you have." So I thank her for that advice. It was definitely very helpful in going through my day-to-day battles because every day is a battle. And again, they may not look like I'm fighting. I was just talking to my wife last night. Now, I was letting her know. I was like, in the summer, boy, you don't think I got nothing. I be running around, bike riding, walking, running, jogging, going everywhere. And then wintertime hit, man. That's a whole different story, man.
But see, that's the thing though. From the outside looking in,
Mm-hmm.
you can't tell. If I see your wife walking with the bags or something like that, and wondering why you not carrying them, and there are things that you're not going to notice from the outside. When you said you sat down and talked to your family, your wife and your son,
Mm-hmm.
I know he can't say too much and put too much input in it. But what I'm trying to get at here is that you sat them down. You said y'all came up with a plan for medication,
Mm-hmm.
like what regimen, And I was thinking about it to myself, and that's the first thing I thought about was, now I did take a look. There are a lot of different medications. How did
Mm-hmm.
you know what was right for you?
Um, so going back to Michigan, when I first saw the first neurologist, so for MS, um, because it does a lot with your nervous system, you don't just have your PCP, your primary care provider, or your primary doctor. You also have a neurologist. And the neurologist I had in Michigan, he was like, "Look, Keeson, you're a younger guy, so there's two sets of medicines." He said, "There's these tried and true ones over here, but they're becoming less and less effective as time go on. And
Uh-huh.
then there's these new, more aggressive ones over here." And he said, "Because you're younger, we're gonna try these new, more aggressive ones over here." And I said, "Okay, did the research and tried to find out which ones I thought were best for me. But then I moved to Connecticut. And then, I told my new neurologist about that. And she was like, yeah, I mean, he got a point. There's some that have been out for a while, a little more tried and true. And then there's some that are a little bit newer, but they're just more upgraded versions of the older ones. Like people said, okay, we figured out how this one works. We're going to upgrade it and do a little bit more to it. And my thing is, with MS, people don't tell you. People with MS have horrible memories. But with that, I was like, what is the easiest one I can take? I said, look, lady, I'm gonna be honest with you. And she's a very nice lady. I said, look, doctor lady, what is the easiest one I can take? She said, well, there's a pill regimen. I said, nope, that ain't gonna work. She said you can take an infusion once a month. That's a lot. And she said you can take an infusion twice a year. I said, oh, tell me more about this twice a year. And it was still a little bit in the newer phase, and it didn't have a lot of side effects for people. So when you read side effects, people are like, oh, I got no side effects. But again, it hadn't been out that long. Um, but I said, you know what, this is the one that I'm going to do because I know if I have to remember to take a pill every day, I'm not going to remember. I might miss a day or I might have to double up on days, and it's just going. Plus, I don't swallow pills that well, so doing the infusion twice a year is what I do. Also, with a regimen depending on where my levels are of vitamin C, definitely vitamin D, um, and if you needed Tylenol for certain things. During this path, it wasn't just these things. Other things would come up. I get drowsy. They give you other medicines and steroids and all this other stuff, and a lot of that stuff just ended up making me drowsy. So I stopped taking some of those, obviously with the encouragement of my neurologist, and just found a regimen that worked for me, which ended up being the infusions with, at this point, just vitamin D on a daily basis.
See, mm, I'm gonna tell you why I got confused at.
Mm-hmm.
Not with what you're saying. Back in the beginning, when you told me, I got confused because now I'm gonna be. We could be real right now, right?
Mm-hmm. Because it's
Now,
nothing but MS warriors and MS warrior advocates that are watching this.
no, I know, but I'm saying I'm gonna be real though.
Mm-hmm.
When I first thought, I was like, who affected by it?
Mm-hmm.
And my doctor actually told me. He said, "Now you know where I'm going with this now, right?" Because he was shocked. It's no. I'm just gonna be honest. What he told me, he said, it's usually women, and it's usually white women.
Mm-hmm.
And he said when he found out you were black. Now come on now. I could have the hazel eyes. Maybe a relative is white somewhere. So I was just thinking. He told me. He said, "Hey, just don't be honest. He's not in like what you would think would be in the group.
Mm-hmm.
So so when he gets down to trying to find groups to go to, he may be the only male." And this is what he was telling me. He said, and plus, he will be the only black male. Like, it's just like you looking around and like.
You know what? I had this conversation with my wife. Um, so when you get the infusion, you're not by yourself. It's not something like you go, and it's not something that's quick. It's not something like it's 2 minutes and you're done. It's a you sit in infusion. It's anywhere from, I would say, 6 to 8 hours, depending on how fast your drip is going and how fast and how your body's responding to everything.
And when
And
you saying okay. Now, for people who do not understand, like me,
mm-hmm.
what do you mean when you say your body? Like if your body is,
Mm-hmm. So,
you get where I'm going, right?
right. So when you take the infusion, it's not like you just go down. You just go in and you sit down. You get an infusion of whatever the medicine is. Then when it's done, you get up and leave. It's more than that. So when I go, they're trying to make sure I don't have an allergic reaction to anything, that my body's ready for it, that I'm comfortable, that the drip is working, that my blood pressure isn't going up, and then they monitor you an hour after you receive the medicine. So to put it more into perspective, you go, you get your measurements, how much you weigh, how fast you walk, See if you got any hitch that's different than the previous time that you've been there, if you're any slower or anything like that. Once you do that, they sit you down, prep you with an infusion. Then from there, they give you Tylenol to make sure that you don't have a fever or anything like that. Um, they give it a little time to let that settle in. Then they give you steroid to make sure that you are that you're okay and you can handle what's going on. And then they kind of monitor you for a little bit to make sure that you've had no reactions. Then they give you Benadryl to make sure you've got no allergic reactions. And then after that, they give you the actual medicine. And for those of you who've taken it and those of you who haven't, it is the slowest drip in America. So for those of you, if you've been in the hospital and you get an infusion, it looks like it's always do 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 do. It is not that fast. When you're taking it for MS, it's like drop, drop.
But what they're giving you is very potent. So
Yeah.
if it needs a time to go in your system.
Right. So you sit there for another, 3 to 4 hours or however long it is. And then they monitor you for an hour to make sure your blood pressure didn't go up and so forth and whatnot. And then also, and I don't think I've mentioned this part, is that you can't go alone. You may start alone, but you have to have somebody come pick you up. You can't drive home by yourself because they don't want you to get woozy or have an allergic reaction or anything like that on your way home. So my wife usually has to come pick me up on that day.
Question: why can't you get an Uber or something to take you there?
They don't want you to. They don't want you driving. I mean, I guess you could and you can lie, but usually they want somebody to come get you.
Oh, okay. I was trying to get it because and I'm gonna be honest here. You are a rare case, and when I say a rare case, you have a wife. A lot of people when they going through something, they going through it alone. So there's nobody to call. I know people who go through shit alone, and I don't mean to cuss, but they're going through something alone, and it's just like it's them.
Yeah. This is the PG show, Uncle Tam. I just want
you. I know that's why I'm.
But
back, very respectful.
What I was getting at is that when I'm in the infusion room, you're not by yourself. It might be 5, 6 other people in there. You're spaced out in your chairs and all that good stuff. I see more men in the infusion center when you're getting the infusion. I see no other black men in the when I go to any of the therapeutic aspects of with everyone and meeting with MS groups. I don't see any other black men. I do see other men, but when I say that, it makes it sound like it's plural. It's usually one. It's usually like one other guy, and they usually look around and be like, you look in a room, it's 10 women in there, and it might be me, maybe another black woman, and then it would be 8 white women, and that'd be the whole group. Or and it's usually primarily white women that have it, but that doesn't mean that we don't get it. It's just one. I think there are a lot of people of color who do have it, but I also think that they don't go through with the therapeutic aspects of talking it out with the group and being in a group of people who understand, or having someone that they can lean on that have it. They kind of internalize it, and I don't think that's the best thing for a lot of people, especially with this particular disease, because for me, I know a lot of my denial phase is that a lot of people say stuff and you get offended by stuff that people say, and they're not being mean, but they're not understanding your plight. Like when people say, "Man, I'm dead tired," and you're like, you have no idea what dead tired means. But when you talk with somebody with MS and y'all are comparing stories and you're like, okay, you get it. But when somebody like, man, I just worked 8 hours, I'm tired, and you like, shut up, just shut up. You sitting there on your butt at your desk for 8 hours is not the same. you know.
It's what to me, it was just like when you told me it was like something that I have to learn about. It was a learning curve because the thing that I did have for you and I wanted to ask was like when you having an infusion, when you sitting in the chair, are you allowed to talk to other people?
Yeah, it really doesn't matter, but yeah, you
I'm
can.
saying, can y'all talk to each other?
Yeah.
Or?
Hey, one guy was so jovial, he had me feeling bad. He was telling so many jokes, I was laughing. But the reason I say I was feeling bad is because when they give you the Benadryl, you be man, you fuck, and everybody just start fading out once you get the Benadryl. So everyone, it's not as deep conversations like it would be as going to a group. But it's like, hey, how you doing? Is this your first time? And people kind of share how many times they've gotten said infusions, and it's just more of a, you just being nice type of thing. It's not like you're going into deep, how do you feel or anything like that.
But if you noticed in any of your videos that you have done on this, you haven't touched these areas. But I'm gonna say this to you though. See, that's what I bring out of you. I bring out greatness. You see how that greatness is coming. You
Um,
know,
Out of all the MS videos I did, I've only done one other video with somebody else, so I'm usually by myself, and it's
see
different.
the greatness came out. You see the greatness is completely coming out. Boy, I'm like he relaxed. Usually in the videos it's like looking around and I'm like, look at you, purely relaxed. You like, well, Uncle Tim right there. My real Uncle Tim. But I'm gonna say this: when you first told me in the beginning, I was scared because, dude, being honest, I didn't want to lose you. May sound selfish, but just didn't. So I educated myself on it for I wouldn't say nothing stupid. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You can unintentionally say something stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Like you was mentioning, like, man, maybe if you don't eat red meat and you sitting here like this ain't something you can just, but after hearing everything, then after you came to terms with it, that's the thing that changed everything. After you came to terms with it, your personality changed just a little more. And man, I was like, okay, we still here in there. It's like, yeah, then you got cocky again and you was like, yeah, these shoes ready. And I was like, yeah. See, that's what I'm used to from you at times. And when I didn't see that, that scared me. How you said, yeah, I'm wearing a periwinkle shirt with a cranberry tie and, an almond color, um, sweater vest. And I'm like, man, like, a lot of colors. Okay, he back. Like, if I heard two colors, I would have got scared. Like, wait, a brown and a gray. I'm like, oh, no. No. When I seen that you were continued to be you, I was really happy about that.
Well, I appreciate that, and I appreciate you sharing a little bit of your insight on this episode of my MS journey. I'd like to thank you, Uncle Tim, for coming on and sharing, as well as I'd like to say for my MS warriors and my MS warrior advocates, um, make sure that you know that it will get easier, it will get better. Take it day by day. Um, Make sure you're focused on the past. Don't dwell too much in the present, and definitely don't get caught up in the past. Make sure that you know that the future is going to be better. We're finding better medicines for this. We will get through this. Keep fighting. You're not the only one. I know it feels like it, but make sure you just keep fighting. You are a warrior. Stand proud. Stand strong.
And can I say one last thing?
Go ahead.
And this is real here. Do not hang around negative people. It will bring you completely down. Change your circle. You'll feel much better.
And with that said, salute.